What's going on? I'm Dariel, owner of Twisted Blood Kennel, and today we're going to be talking about how I got into Shorty Bulls.
Yeah. Ain't nobody fly like this, nah. Ain't nobody come around like this, nah. Ain't nobody getting down like this, nah. Ain't nobody fly like this, y'all. Can't nobody come around like this, y'all. Ain't nobody getting down like this, y'all.
So there was an ABKC show that was going to be held in Atlanta. And my buddy that got me into the Old English Bulldogs had hit me up and told me about the show and asked me if I wanted to go out to it and check it out. And so at the time, I had never been to an ABKC dog show before. So I was kind of excited about being able to experience this opportunity. So the next weekend came for the show. And me and him loaded up in the truck. We took a couple of oldies with us. And we struck out to Atlanta. It's about 2.5 hours away. We got to the show. And we started mingling with different breeders. And going to different people's booths. And checking out the dogs that they had. And in the midst of us mingling with different breeders, we bumped into Jamie Sweet. And I had heard of Jamie Sweet before through the Old English Bulldogs because she had produced one of my favorite Old English Bulldogs named Dirty. And so as we're sitting around talking to Jamie, she's walking around this little Shorty Bull named Skids. And this was the very first Shorty Bull that I'd ever seen in person. And I was in awe of the substance that this dog carried on this small, compact frame. And so from that moment, I was instantly interested in the Shorty Bulls. But due to the fact that I had just got into Old English Bulldogs, that's as far as I entertained that thought. And so fast forward years later, after all of the many mishaps I had with the Old English Bulldog, like I talked about in my last video about the history of Twisted Blood Kennel, I had completely got out of dogs. And so one day I was sitting around and I was scrolling through YouTube and I stumbled upon this documentary about the Shorty Bull. And so this documentary really sucked me in. I sat and I watched this documentary for about an hour and a half. And it really inspired me and it really sparked the urge for me to want to breed again. And so after I watched that documentary, man, I sent it to all my friends and all my family that I thought would be even a tad bit interested in dogs. And every time I would get around people, a crowd of people, I would bring up the Shorty Bull and I would show people this documentary. And I was amazed by how many people that were outside of the bully community that had never heard of the Shorty Bull. I was also amazed about the people that were part of the bully community that had no idea what the Shorty Bull even was. And so that solidified my decision to become a Shorty Bull breeder. I knew at that point that I had to be a part of heightening the awareness of this amazing breed. And so I talked to my wife about it. I let her know my thoughts about becoming a Shorty Bull breeder. And I told her how I felt about this documentary. And so she encouraged me to go for it. And so I ended up contacting Jamie Sweet and trying to see what she had available. And at the time that I contacted her, she had just had a litter off of Ted and Getty. And if I'm not mistaken, the entire litter was males. And if it wasn't all males, then that's all she had available at that time. So she sent me a bunch of pictures and a bunch of video of the available pups. And I was instantly drawn to this little cream pup. So I ended up purchasing this pup from Jamie. And that was my first male. So I started on a journey to try to find a female to pair with him. And so I ended up meeting this guy named Jason Scola from Blue River STL. And he had a 6-month-old female at the time that was available off of his male Louie and his female Blondie. And she was very impressive, very, very small, but had a lot of girth. And I thought that she would pair well with my male that I had just purchased from Jamie. And so I ended up buying her from Jason. And those two, that pair right there is what started me on my journey to become a Shorty Bull breeder. I appreciate you guys checking out my channel. Be blessed, be safe, and have a great day.